Hey, I'm back. Welcome to another nighttime video. Just ended the last one, and I'm about ready to pull out of here. And I have my glasses on, but the direction I'm going, I don't know if I'm gonna have the sun in my eyes or not. Well, but just in case, I'll put the glasses on my head. So in case I got a hook that way, if the sun hasn't gone down over the hill yet by the time I head west, that way if it gets in my eyes, I can pull these glasses down quick. Thinking ahead. See, I'm a visionary. I'm ahead of my time. Oh, I'm a goofball. I know. What can I say? Well, let's get a sip of lemonade here out of my Coke bottle. Not too tart, not too sweet. Mixed it just right. So, plan right now is to head back to the Walmart parking lot. I gotta say, this journey has been a bit different. People may think I'm crazy, but God led me on this journey. And more so than He has in the past. But part of that's because as I've been talking to God more and going to church more and reading scripture more, or researching the history of the Bible and the history of Jesus more, I've been trying to listen for God more. Oh, the moon is pretty. We got a full moon out there. Oh! I just had to do that to be silly. Full moon, you know, werewolf, or not a werewolf, but a wolf, you know. Well, I guess you could go werewolf. I remember from when I was a kid watching some of the movies. They used to scare me. I didn't like being scared. But my dad and my brother liked watching some of those old movies. I kind of liked them, but they scared me and made me cry sometimes. It's like a Mystery Night Theater or that, and they'd have the hand reach out of the casket and stuff, and I'd cry. I was a little crybaby. Now, even the library had, because the parking ride right next to it, if I'd already had videos edited, more to upload and stuff, if I was more prepared for more to do, if I would have just went next door to the parking ride, stayed there, and not burnt the extra, not burnt any more gas, but I'm gonna do the 3.5-4 mile run back to the old back to the Walmart lot. Sure hope the good stuff happens pretty quick here. From unemployment yet, so I don't know if that's going to go through or not. I keep praying that it's going to. Keep applying for jobs. And I talked to another neat story. I met this old guy Gary a while back, and I put him in one of my earlier videos. I had a selfie I did with him. God had me literally meet him. He literally bumped into me. And I knew he was God sent. I just knew it, you know. And I talked to him about he's not real. He's kind of spiritual. He believes that the history of the Bible, but because of religion or something's got him kind of not believing it. He's kind of teeter-tottered. But I know that day that I talked to him, I could see it in his eyes. He was kind of believing a little more, you know. Well, ran into him today, and I haven't seen him for a couple months now since I last met him. We did exchange phone numbers, and I hadn't called him. I've been busy trying to survive. And I don't want to, be a burden on his life. Now, if I was already working, or had income, then I probably would have called him more just to hang out with him or talk to him, because he said he likes to it was nice to have somebody to talk to and stuff. He's an older guy, he's 84. But what's neat, after meeting him again today, and we got talking, and my original channel, my new creator channel, I had done a video of John Dillinger the gangster, his cabin on Big Marine Lake here in Minnesota, and did a story in the description of it. I got the story of the history of Ruby Radine and her little brother, and them getting picked up by John Dillinger in his pickup truck, and he brought them the rest of the way home and gave me a sucker and stuff, and just a neat story, you know. And it had to deal with John Dillinger, and from Ruby Radine and them, it transitioned. It's about John Dillinger, but that just kind of gives reference to some of the other people, families that lived there while John Dillinger had this cabin. And the cabin itself had been sitting vacant for like 40 years or something before I filmed at it. And I ended up crawling through a window that I found open that filmed the inside too. The place was for sale, and I crawled through a window to film the inside. And later on, I found some black and white. Doing more research on John Dillinger, I found a black and white photo of John Dillinger standing outside the very window that I crawled through, holding a Tommy gun in one hand and a pistol in the other hand. Pretty cool stuff. So I might remake that video again and then add some of that black and white stuff that I found in there, you know, to go with the cabin video. But anyway, that word snuck in there. So I'm getting off track. I do that a lot, and I start telling a story here and I end up way over there. Well, it turns out, anyway, after talking to Gary today, the old guy, I had made this John Dillinger video years ago, and I had John Dillinger's great nephew that write to me when he seen the video and wanted to know more about his uncle's cabin and stuff. But, so it was another godsend today, meeting Gary before, but I didn't have this all linked together till today. I get talking to Gary again today in the library. He tells me his last name, and I look at him and I'm like, "You ain't by chance related to Ruby Radine, are you?" And he just smiled. He said, "That's my aunt." Well, what a small world. So this video I did, 6 years ago, turns out that the story that it was about his aunt and his dad, his aunt and his dad in that story that rode in the pickup truck with John Dillinger. So it just was a mind blower today, and I just feel God's presence while we're talking. And there's a reason this is all happening. And maybe some people might think I'm crazy. Oh well, so be it. But I can feel there's something to it all. I don't know what it all is or why it's all happening and why I got guided back up here. But it's kind of neat to think that 6 years later, I run into this guy and you're talking to him about God and stuff, and I felt compelled to talk to him about God, and I could tell he was on the fence with his faith a little bit, maybe, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm still going to share more time with him, and I will share my faith with my belief in God and stuff, whether he believes it or not. And I won't push it on him or tell him, "Oh, you should believe this or that." It ain't how I am. But there's a reason that I met him, and I'm supposed to, and that we keep meeting each other. Well, now, after I got talking about this history with John Dillinger, and that it was his dad and his aunt that rode in the truck with John Dillinger, it just blows my mind. I can't even hardly believe it, So once again, if you go to a new creator channel, it's John Dillinger's cabin. That's the video I was talking about. But anyway, so back to Gary, this guy I'm talking to. It is so fascinating. We started going through all this older stuff from when he was a kid and the stories that he knew. And I was like, man, I wish I was recording this. I would love to sit down with you sometime, and talk to you about all this stuff and at least record it on audio. I don't know if he wants to be on video film. Some people don't want to be. They don't want to be on video and stuff. He did let me take a selfie with him. That was cool. But, so he said, yeah, he would love to do that. So I do have his number, his home number, and his cell number, and he's got my number. So I'm hoping, hope he doesn't keel over anytime soon or nothing. He's a nice guy. And I'd never want anybody to keel over, but yeah. So right now the plan is hopefully sometime in the near future here, if I can get my finances figured out, to where I can afford to go spend a day with him when he's not busy. See, like right now I got all the free time in the world, but I don't have the money to be running back and forth pumping gas in this thing. But as long as I can figure it out, I'm going to try to just sit down with him and spend the day just talking to him about stuff. Because he likes to talk anyway. He's all by himself. He's an older dude, older guy. And, well, his son, that's another thing, too, that his son works not too far from here. And he asked me if I was mechanically inclined and stuff, which I am. And he said he was going to talk to his son from where he works at, which is kind of a techie kind of place, I guess. Some type of fluid dynamic place. And he said he was going to let them know about me and see if maybe they're hiring over there or something. So I thought that was kind of neat. And but I sure hope I get to sit down with him and talk more and get my mics going and record all this history from this guy. Because it's dying history. There, you know, a lot of these older people are gone. And sure, we got some videotapes and some documentaries that might tell you about some of this history, but I got a chance to talk with real connections, you know. That is so cool. I just can't even believe how connected he is between all this stuff. It just blows my mind. And now I got talking about my history with him a little bit, and how I didn't know that as much of Indian I had in me, because my grandpa, he never talked about how much Indian he was, because, you know, he grew up through a lot of racism and stuff, and you didn't talk about that kind of stuff, you know, so he didn't mention it. Well, after my grandpa had passed away one time, I was talking to sorry about that, it was kind of rude to dig in my mouth while I'm turning the corner. Just had something, felt like I had something caught in my tooth or something. Not a polite thing to do while I'm on camera. My mom, if she was around, she would have got on me about that one. Where are your manners? Sorry, Mom, I slipped up here. I'm still hearing you, though. God, I haven't parked in this spot in quite a while now. Been a few weeks. So, starting to kind of lose track of time, man. Things are getting kind of dreamy, foggy with all this craziness I got going on. Ooh, that's looking pretty level there. I'm pretty level. I'm a little bit nose up, a little bit to the right, a little bit. But... So, during this event, I ain't gonna run this much longer, and I'm gonna shut it off because I don't want to burn extra gas I don't have to burn. I do have. I can turn up my. Bear with me here. What do we got for time? I got 12 minutes. Okay. While I'm thinking about it, I got a link to my diesel heater and turn up the temperature in a little bit, because I had it at 45. Then before I left the library, I turned it up to 60, and it looks like it's 64 back there right now. But we're gonna turn her up to 70 just to get it warmer in here. And that way, by the time I shut this off, and I got this heat is really warm up here, and I got this fan going right here that's helping pump this heat up here back there, and I can just put my hand back there. I can feel it's cooler back here. So it's 64 degrees by the diesel heater back there where the heat's coming out, and it's warmer up here. I don't know what it is up here, but I can just stick my hand in the middle. I can feel that it's colder than 64 degrees. I'm gonna guess we probably got about maybe 55 degrees in the middle here, kind of. Yep, that's what it is. It's actually 53.7 degrees. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I got off track from what I was talking about with everything. But yeah, it is just amazing. I'm so amazed by unlocking that with Gary about the history that links in with John Dillinger and everything, and his aunt and all that stuff. That just mind blowing. Oh, that's what it was. And then about Indian, that's what it was. My grandpa, he was half Indian, and my great grandma, or his mom, which would be my great grandma, was pure blood Indian, and she was really, really dark skinned. Oh my goodness gracious, super dark skinned. I was shocked when I found a picture of her. I was just like amazed how dark skinned she was. So my great grandpa, he migrated here from Europe over through Canada and came down through Minnesota and met himself a squaw. I think they call it a squaw. I don't hope I'm not saying that wrong. I don't mean to offend anybody. Just being silly. But he met my great grandma. And they had my grandpa and my Uncle Dwayne and a bunch of other kids. And my dad, my uncle. My grandpa had my dad and Uncle Dwayne. But my great grandma and grandma, they had my grandpa, and they had quite a few kids. They had some boys and girls, and a lot of them lived in Winona, Minnesota. That's where we used to have our family reunions. But back to the Indian stuff, I'm getting sidetracked again, but we have to come bring this video to a close. So my grandpa never talked about him being Indian because of racism. So, but all my life, I don't think my grandpa called me by my name Darren, but a handful of times throughout my whole life. And he always called me Eagle Eye. Well, it wasn't until after my grandpa died, and I was talking to my mom one time, and she started talking about how much Indian my grandpa was. It was me, my mom, my brother was there too. It was one of his nicer days. Anyway, this was quite a while back though. And when my mom brought it up, then I was shocked. I said, well, then I know what my Indian name is. And my brother was like, what? And I said, Eagle Eye. And my brother was like, wow, yeah, you're right. Because he remembers it too. That's all my grandpa always called me, Eagle Eye. Very rarely would he call me Darren. Well, I didn't know he was Indian at all. I just figured he was my grandpa being silly or something, you know. But so now that I know that at that point in time when I was younger, I knew from then on that was my Indian given name by my grandpa. I don't have a doubt about that in my mind at all. So, outside of my normal birth certificate name, I know that my Indian name is Eagle Eye, according to my grandpa. And it fit, because I had really good eyes all my life, and every time he'd lose he'd be working on his glasses if they started coming apart or something, a little screw, or if a little spring or something he was working on, one shot out into the carpet, he'd holler, Eagle Eye. Come in and be like, yeah, Grandpa? And he'd be like, I lost the screw to my glasses, you know, and I'm like, where were you at, Grandpa? He said, I was sitting right here. And I said, well, where were you working on? He said, right here. I said, no, but were you sitting forward? Or, you know, where were you sitting at? You know, give me the best position you're at, you know? And he'd, show me where he was sitting. I wanted him to show me, to the best of his ability, exactly where he was positioned. Because in my mind, then my mind could see that little screw going through the air and hitting the carpet, or if it hit the wood floor and rolled onto the carpet, or whatever. My mind could just imagine that. And then I'd just, right when he'd tell me, then I'd just look. And I'd be like, there it is, Grandpa. And that was that little itty bitty tiny screw, you know. And it never failed, anything tiny like that. Sometimes I wonder if he didn't purposely toss little stuff around, seeing how good I could spot that stuff. It sure happened an awful lot. And I don't think my grandpa was that clumsy. You know, I think he was testing me sometimes. So that's a little more history on me. Good old Eagle Eye Darren. Anyway, all that work snuck in at the end. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you will see that thumb. Thumb it up. God bless you. You have a good one. Take care of yourself, and see you on the next one.